The space station hung in the darkness like a small moon. It was called Hope Station, and it was humanity's first home among the stars. The station was not very big. It could hold only 5,000 people. But for humans, it was everything. It was proof that they had finally left their small blue planet and stepped into the great black ocean of space. Stood near the large window on the observation deck. She was 28 years old with short black hair and calm eyes. She wore the gray uniform of Earth's Defense Force. On her left wrist, she wore a thin silver device. It looked simple, almost like a bracelet, but it was not simple at all. She watched the stars and waited. Everyone on the station was waiting. 3 hours ago, they had received a message. The message came from a ship that was approaching fast. The ship belonged to the Empire. Humans had known about aliens for only 2 years. First contact had not been friendly. They were a powerful species. They had conquered many worlds. They believed that strength was the only thing that mattered. Weak species served the strong. That was their law. And in their eyes, humans were weak. Heard footsteps behind her. She turned and saw walking toward her. He was tall and thin, with kind eyes and messy hair. He was the station's chief engineer. He was also her closest friend. "They will be here in 30 minutes, said. His voice was quiet. "The commander wants you in the main hangar." Nodded. She looked at her wrist device one more time, had helped her build it. It had taken them 6 months. No one else on the station knew what it could do, not even the commander. "Are you afraid?" asked. Thought about the question. She remembered her home inn. She remembered the smell of the sea and the sound of her mother's voice. She remembered why she had joined the Defense Force. She wanted to protect those things. She wanted to protect Earth. "No," she said, "I am ready." They walked together through the long white halls of the station. People moved around them with nervous faces. Some were soldiers. Some were scientists. Some were just families who had come to live among the stars. All of them knew that today might be their last day. The main hangar was the largest room on the station. It was where ships landed and departed. Today, it would be where humanity met its enemy. Commander Park was already there. He was an old man with gray hair and a hard face. He had fought in 3 wars on Earth, but he had never faced anything like this. "Officer," he said, "you will stand at the front. You will speak for us." Some of the soldiers looked surprised. Was young. She was not the highest-ranking officer, but Commander Park had chosen her for a reason. She was calm, she did not show fear, and she was smart, very smart. "Yes, sir," said. She walked to the center of the hangar and waited. Behind her, 50 soldiers stood in a line. They held weapons, but everyone knew the weapons would not help much. They had better technology. They had better armor. They had conquered species that were far more advanced than humans. The hangar doors began to open. Cold air rushed in from outside. Then a ship appeared. It was black and sharp, like a knife cutting through the darkness. It was beautiful in a terrible way. The ship landed with a heavy sound. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a door opened on the side of the ship. Light poured out, and they came. The soldiers walked out in perfect lines. They were tall, almost 7 feet. Their skin was dark gray, and their eyes were yellow like fire. They wore black armor that covered their whole bodies. In their hands they carried long weapons that glowed with blue light. Counted them. 100, 200, 300. They kept coming. Soon the hangar was full of them. 300 soldiers standing like statues. Their yellow eyes looked at the humans with no emotion. Then he appeared. Commander was bigger than the others. He was almost 8 feet tall. His armor was different too. It was covered in golden marks. These marks showed his rank. They showed how many worlds he had conquered. There were many marks. Walked forward slowly. Each step made a heavy sound on the metal floor. He stopped in front of and looked down at her. His yellow eyes studied her like she was an insect. "This is what Earth sends to meet me," said. His voice was deep and rough like stones grinding together. A small female, a child. Did not move, she did not look away, she met his eyes and held them. I am officer of Earth's Defense Force, she said. Her voice was clear and steady. I speak for this station, I speak for my people. Laughed, it was not a happy sound. It was the laugh of someone who had never lost, someone who had never been afraid. Your people, he said. Your people are nothing. We have watched you for 2 of your years. We have studied you. We know what you are. He leaned closer. His face was only inches from hers. She could smell something strange, like burning metal. You are prey, he whispered. You have always been prey. On your world you killed each other for small pieces of land. You destroyed your own home with your greed. You are weak. You are stupid. And now you will serve us. Behind, the soldiers gripped their weapons. Commander Park's face was red with anger. But no one moved. No one spoke. They were waiting for her. Took a slow breath. She thought about words in the observation deck. She thought about her mother in. She thought about every human who had ever looked up at the stars and wondered what was out there. We have received your message, she said calmly. You want us to surrender. You want us to become your servants. Yes, said. It is the natural order, the strong rule, the weak obey. This is how the galaxy works. Nodded slowly. I understand, she said, but I have a question. Looked amused. A question. The prey has a question for the hunter. Yes, said. You say you have studied us. You say you know what we are, but I wonder, do you really understand what humans are? Stared at her. For just a moment something flashed in his yellow eyes. It might have been curiosity. It might have been confusion. Then it was gone, replaced by cold confidence. I understand enough, he said. I understand that you will kneel, all of you, or you will die. Smiled. It was a small smile, barely visible, but it was there. Then let me teach you something new, she said. Commander did not understand the small human woman. He had conquered 12 worlds. He had made kings bow before him. He had watched entire civilizations fall at his feet. But this woman, this tiny creature who barely reached his chest, was smiling at him. It made no sense. Teach me, repeated. He looked back at his soldiers. Some of them made sounds that might have been laughter. You want to teach me something. What could a human possibly teach her? Kept her hands at her sides. Her fingers were close to the silver device on her wrist, but she did not touch it. Not yet. Many things, she said. But first, let me ask you about your studies. You said you watched us for 2 years. What did you learn? Crossed his arms. His yellow eyes narrowed. He did not like questions. He liked giving orders. He liked seeing fear in the eyes of lesser species. But this human showed no fear. It was strange. It was almost interesting. We learned everything, said. We learned that your species is young. You have been in space for less than 200 of your years. We have been among the stars for 10,000 years. You are children. Nodded. What else? We learned that you fight each other. Even now your world has divisions, countries, borders. You cannot even unite your own planet. How could you stand against an empire that spans 1,000 worlds? Go on, said. Took a step closer. He was trying to frighten her. He wanted to see her step back, but she did not move. We learned that you are emotional, he continued. You make decisions based on feelings, not logic. You love, you hate, you cry. These are weaknesses. A true warrior feels nothing. A true warrior acts only with purpose. Behind, Commander Park listened carefully. He did not understand what she was doing. Why was she letting the alien talk? Why was she asking questions? They should be negotiating. They should be trying to find a way to survive. But there was something in his eyes, something calm and patient, like she was waiting for the right moment. You are correct about many things, said. We are young. We do fight each other. We are emotional, but you missed something important. Tilted his head. What did we miss? You missed what those things mean, said. You see them as weaknesses, but they are not weaknesses. They are our greatest strengths. Now laughed again. It was a loud, ugly sound that echoed through the hangar. His soldiers joined him, 300 warriors laughing at one small human woman. Strength, said. You think fighting each other is a strength. You think crying is a strength. Yes, said. Her voice did not waver. Because every time we fight, we learn. Every time we fall, we get up. Every time we fail, we try again. That is what makes us human. We never stop. We never give up. We never accept that something is impossible. Stopped laughing. Something in her voice had changed. It was still calm, still quiet, but there was steel underneath it now. There was fire. You have conquered many worlds, continued. You have defeated many species, but tell me, Commander, how did those species fight you? Did they run? Did they hide? Did they surrender quickly? Thought about the question. In truth, most species did surrender quickly. They saw the fleets and they gave up. They knew they could not win. The smart ones served willingly. The stupid ones were destroyed. Most of them were wise, said. They knew their place. And the ones who fought asked, how long did they last? His eyes flickered. This question touched something uncomfortable, a memory he did not like to think about. Some lasted longer than others, he admitted, but they all fell in the end. How long was the longest war? Pressed. The hangar was very quiet now. Even the soldiers seemed interested in the answer. 30 of your years, said slowly. They were stubborn. They fought until they had nothing left. In the end, we destroyed their entire world. Nodded. 30 years. And after 30 years, you destroyed them. You think that was a victory? Of course it was a victory. We won. Did you? Asked. You spent 30 years fighting one species. How many soldiers did you lose? How many ships? How many resources? And in the end, you had to destroy an entire planet. That does not sound like victory to me. That sounds like they almost beat you. His face changed. The amusement was gone. Now there was anger, real anger. His yellow eyes burned like fire. Watch your words, human, he growled. You know nothing of war. You know nothing of what we are capable of. I know more than you think, said. I know that you are afraid of species that do not give up. I know that you prefer easy victories. I know that you came here expecting us to kneel, just like all the others. She took one step forward. It was a small step, but everyone noticed. The soldiers raised their weapons slightly. The human soldiers behind her tensed. But we are not like the others, said. We are humans, and humans do not kneel. Stared at her for a long moment. Then he smiled. It was a cold, cruel smile. Brave words, he said. Foolish words. You have 50 soldiers, I have 300. Your weapons are toys compared to ours. Your armor is paper. If I gave the order, my soldiers could kill everyone on this station in 10 minutes. Perhaps, said. There is no perhaps, it is a fact. Then why haven't you given the order? Asked. The question hung in the air. Smile faded slightly. It was a good question. Why hadn't he given the order? He could take this station easily. He could kill every human here and move on to Earth. He had done it to other species before. But something stopped him. Something about this woman. Something about the way she looked at him. Like she knew something he did not. I am giving you a chance, said finally. I am being generous. Surrender now and some of you will live. Resist and you will all die. It is a simple choice. Looked at Commander Park. The old soldier's face was hard to read. He had lived through many battles. He had made many difficult decisions. But this was different. This was not a war between nations. This was a war for humanity's survival. Park gave her a small nod. It meant, do what you must. Turn back to. She lifted her left arm slowly. The silver device on her wrist caught the light. You asked what humans could teach you, she said. Let me show you the first lesson. Looked at the device with curiosity. It was small and thin. It did not look like a weapon. It did not look dangerous at all. What is that? He asked. A communication device. Are you calling for help? There is no help coming. Your fleet is too small. Your technology is too weak. Nothing can save you. Smiled again. This time the smile was different. There was something dangerous in it, something that made even Commander take a small step back. "The first lesson," she said, "is this. Never assume you understand your enemy. Never assume you know what they can do. Never assume that because they look weak, they are weak." She pressed a button on the device. Nothing visible happened. No sound. No light. But somewhere in the station, machines began to wake up. Somewhere in the station, energy began to flow. "The second lesson," continued, "is even more important. Would you like to hear it?" Did not answer. He was looking at the device on her wrist. His yellow eyes were calculating, analyzing. For the first time since he had arrived, he felt something strange. Something he had not felt in a very long time. Uncertainty. "The second lesson," said softly, "is that humans never stop inventing. We never stop creating. We never stop finding new ways to survive. That is what you missed in your studies. That is what you will learn today." She looked at the 300 soldiers standing in perfect lines. She looked at their weapons and their armor. She looked at Commander, the conqueror of 12 worlds. "You said humans can't control you," she said. "Let's test that theory." In the command deck high above the hangar, watched everything on the main screen. His hands moved across the control panel with practiced speed. Numbers and symbols flashed before his eyes. Energy readings, power levels, system status. Everything was working. The network they had built over the past 6 months was ready. Hidden inside the walls of the station, woven into the floor and ceiling, a web of energy conductors waited. Had pressed the first button. The system was active. Now they just needed the right moment. His communicator buzzed. It was Myra, another engineer who worked with him. "The ship is scanning us," she said. Her voice was nervous. "They're looking for weapons, energy signatures, anything unusual." "They won't find anything," replied. "The network is passive right now. It looks like normal station wiring." "Are you sure this will work?" Thought about all the nights he and had spent working on this project. They had tested it 100 times. They had run simulations. They had done everything they could to make sure it would work when the time came. "It has to work," he said. Down in the hangar, the tension was growing. Had not attacked yet, but his patience was running out. He could see it in his eyes. He could see it in the way his soldiers gripped their weapons. "Humans can't control me," said. His voice was harder now, colder. "No species can control we are the masters of this galaxy. We are the hunters, you are the prey." Did not respond immediately. She was counting in her head, counting the seconds, counting the soldiers, counting the distance between her and... "You keep saying that word," she said finally. "Prey. Do you know what prey does on Earth?" His eyes narrowed. "It runs, it hides, it dies." "Sometimes," agreed. "But sometimes prey fights back. Sometimes prey becomes dangerous. Have you ever heard of a cornered animal, Commander?" "I have heard enough of your words," growled. He was done playing games. He was done listening to this small human talk. "You have made your choice. You have chosen death." He raised his hand. It was a signal. Behind him, 300 soldiers lifted their weapons. Blue lights glowed brighter. The air filled with the hum of energy charging. The human soldiers behind raised their weapons too, but everyone knew it was hopeless. Their weapons were basic projectile guns. They might hurt a few, but they could not win this fight. Commander Park stepped forward. "Officer, perhaps we should." "Not yet," said quietly. She did not take her eyes off. "Wait." "Wait for what?" Park asked. "They're going to fire." "Trust me," said, "please." Park looked at her. He saw something in her eyes, confidence, certainty, something that made him step back and hold his tongue. Smiled at this exchange. "Your leader speaks sense," he said. "She wants to surrender. It is the smart thing to do." "He's not my leader," said. "I am speaking for humanity, and humanity does not surrender." "Then humanity dies today." Brought his hand down. It was the signal to fire. 300 weapons aimed at 50 humans. 300 fingers moved toward triggers. But nothing happened. Looked confused. He gave the signal again, still nothing. His soldiers were not firing. They were standing frozen, their weapons raised but not shooting. "What is this?" demanded. He turned to his soldiers. "Fire, I command you to fire." One of his lieutenants stepped forward. "Commander, the weapons are not responding. Something is wrong with the targeting systems." His yellow eyes widened. He looked at. She was still standing in the same place, calm and patient. The silver device on her wrist glowed faintly now. "What did you do?" he asked. "I told you," said. "Humans never stop inventing. We never stop finding new ways to survive. While you were studying us from orbit, we were studying you too." His face twisted with rage. He took a step toward her, then another. His soldiers watched, uncertain what to do. Their weapons were useless. Their commander was losing control. "You think this changes anything?" shouted. "You think a small trick can stop us? We have strength. We have numbers. We will tear this station apart with our bare hands if we must." "Will you?" asked. She was not afraid. Even with an 8-foot alien monster walking toward her with murder in his eyes, she was not afraid. "Go ahead then, attack me." Stopped, he was close now, close enough to reach out and grab her, close enough to kill her with one blow, but something made him hesitate. "Why are you not afraid?" he asked. His voice was different now. There was confusion in it, real confusion. "You should be terrified. You should be begging for mercy. Why do you stand there like you have already won?" "Because I know something you don't," said. What do you know?" Pressed another button on her wrist device. In the command deck, saw the signal and began the second phase of their plan. Power flowed through the hidden network. Energy built up behind the walls. "I know that this station is not just a station," said. "It is a trap, and you walked right into it." Looked around. The walls looked the same. The floor looked the same. Nothing had visibly changed. But he could feel something now, a vibration in the air, a low hum that came from everywhere and nowhere. "What is this?" one of his soldiers called out. "Commander, I feel something strange." Other soldiers began to speak. They felt it too. Something was wrong, something was different. Their armor felt heavy. Their weapons felt cold. The air itself seemed to press against them. "You studied us for 2 years," said, "but you only looked at our weaknesses. You only saw what you wanted to see. You never asked the most important question." "What question?" demanded. "You never asked. What if the humans knew we were watching? What if they wanted us to come? What if they were preparing for us the whole time?" His face went pale. For a moment he looked like a different creature. Not a conqueror, not a warrior, just a person who had realized he had made a terrible mistake. "That's impossible," he said. "You could not have known. Our ships are invisible to your sensors." They were invisible, agreed, until we invented new sensors. "Humans are very good at solving problems, Commander. Give us a challenge and we will find a way. It's what we do. It's who we are." In the command deck, watched the energy levels rise. Everything was ready. The trap was set. All had to do was say the word. Myra stood beside him, watching the screen with wide eyes. "This is really happening," she whispered. "We're really going to do this." "We'll do it," said. "I believe in her." Down in the hangar was facing a choice. He could attack. He could try to kill and destroy the station. He was strong enough. His soldiers were strong enough. Even without their weapons, they were dangerous. But he was not sure anymore. He was not sure of anything. "Last chance," said. She held up her wrist device. "Leave now. Go back to your ship. Tell your empire that Earth is not worth the trouble. Find easier prey somewhere else." "And if I refuse?" asked. "Then I show you what humans are truly capable of." Looked at his soldiers. He looked at the human soldiers behind. He looked at the small silver device on her wrist. He had conquered 12 worlds. He had never retreated. He had never shown weakness. "Do not run," he said finally. "Do not surrender, you want to fight. Then let me show you what real power looks like." He raised his fist and roared. It was a sound of rage, of pride, of absolute refusal to accept defeat. His soldiers roared with him. 300 voices shook the hangar. Sighed, she had hoped it would not come to this. She had hoped he would be smart enough to leave, but some lessons could only be learned the hard way. "Very well," she said. "Remember, Commander, you chose this." She pressed the final button. The moment pressed the button, the world changed. Light exploded from the walls, not just from one place but from everywhere at once. Bright blue light that filled the entire hangar like a second sun. The soldiers covered their eyes. The human soldiers ducked behind whatever cover they could find. Then the nets came. They burst out of hidden panels in the ceiling, the floor, even the walls themselves. They were made of pure energy, glowing with the same blue light that filled the room. They moved fast, faster than any physical object could move. They spread out like spider webs, like fishing nets thrown by invisible hands. The first net caught a group of soldiers near the entrance. Before they could move, before they could even understand what was happening, the energy wrapped around them. Their armor sparked and smoked. Their bodies froze in place, locked by the power flowing through the net. More nets came, one after another. They caught soldiers in groups of 10, 20, 30. They tried to run, but there was nowhere to go. The nets came from all directions. They caught soldiers who tried to hide behind their ship. They caught soldiers who tried to break through the walls. They caught everyone. Commander watched in horror as his army fell. Soldiers who had conquered planets stood frozen like statues. Soldiers who had never known fear were trapped like insects in a web. 300 warriors, helpless in seconds. He turned to with rage in his eyes. She was still standing in the same spot. Her hand was still raised, her finger still on the button. The light from the energy nets made her face glow blue. "What have you done?" he roared. He lunged at her, his massive arms reaching for her throat. But he was too slow. A net shot toward him from behind. It wrapped around his legs first, pulling him down. He fell to his knees with a heavy crash. Then more nets came. They covered his arms, his chest, his back. Layer after layer of glowing energy. Tried to fight. He was stronger than 10 human soldiers. His muscles strained against the nets. For a moment the energy flickered. For a moment it looked like he might break free. Then's voice came through the speakers. "Increasing power to Sector 7, hold him." The nets grew brighter. The energy flowing through them doubled, then tripled. Roared again, but this time it was not a roar of anger. It was a roar of pain. His armor cracked under the pressure. His body shook as electricity flowed through him. Finally, he stopped struggling. He knelt on the floor of the hangar, wrapped in blue light, unable to move. His yellow eyes found they were full of something he had never felt before. Shock, confusion, and yes, finally, fear. "How?" he asked. His voice was weak now. The energy had drained his strength. "How did you do this?" Walked toward him slowly. Her footsteps echoed in the sudden silence. Around her, 300 soldiers stood frozen. They looked like statues in a strange museum, statues of an army that had thought itself invincible. "6 months ago we captured a small scout ship," said. "Your empire didn't even notice. It was just one tiny ship with one pilot, not important enough to worry about." She stopped in front of. She was looking down at him now. The great conqueror on his knees before a human. "That pilot was very helpful," she continued. "Not at first, of course, but humans are patient. We asked questions. We studied his technology. We learned how armor works. We learned about the energy systems that power your weapons. We learned everything we needed to know." In the command deck, watched the scene with relief flooding through his body. It had worked. After 6 months of planning, 6 months of work, 6 months of hopping and praying, it had actually worked. Myra grabbed his arm. "We did it," she whispered. "We really did it." "Did it," said. "I just built the machines." She stood in front of an alien army and didn't blink. Commander Park walked forward from the line of human soldiers. He looked at the frozen. He looked at the energy nets that held them. He looked at, standing over the alien commander like a queen over a fallen king. "Officer," he said, his voice was full of wonder, "what exactly is this technology?" "We call it the web," said. "It uses the same energy frequency as armor and weapons. When activated, it creates a feedback loop. Their own technology is used against them. The stronger their armor, the stronger the net holds them." "Impossible," said. His voice was barely a whisper now. "You are primitive. You cannot understand our technology." "We didn't need to understand all of it," replied. "We just needed to understand enough. That's another human specialty, Commander. We take things apart. We figure out how they work, and then we find ways to beat them." She crouched down so her face was level with his. Their eyes met, yellow against brown, conqueror against defender. "You called us prey," she said softly, "but do you know what humans really are? We are survivors. For thousands of years we survived on a planet that tried to kill us. We survived ice ages. We survived diseases. We survived predators that were bigger, faster, and stronger than us. And do you know how we did it?" Did not answer. He could not answer. The energy net had taken most of his strength, but he was listening. For the first time in his life, he was truly listening to someone he had thought was beneath him. "We worked together," said. "We used our minds. We invented tools. We adapted. We changed. Every time something threatened us, we found a way to overcome it. Not because we were strong, not because we were fast, but because we never ever gave up." She stood up and looked at the frozen army around her. 300 soldiers who had come to conquer. 300 soldiers who were now prisoners. "Your empire has lived the same way for 10,000 years, she said. "You conquer, you enslave, you destroy, it's all you know, but we are different, we change, we grow, we learn, and now we are going to teach you what that means." The human soldiers were moving now. They walked among the frozen, checking the energy nets, making sure none of them could escape. Some of them were smiling, some of them were crying. They had expected to die today. Instead, they had won. "What will you do with us?" asked. "That depends," said. "We have a choice to make. We could destroy you. We have the power now. We could use these nets to kill every on this station." His eyes widened. Even in his weakened state, he felt something new. Hope, terror, a mixture of both. "But we won't," continued. "Because that's not who we are. We are not conquerors. We are not destroyers. We are builders. We are dreamers. We are humans." She turned to Commander Park. "Sir, I recommend we take the prisoners to the holding area. We can release them from the nets one at a time, under guard. Their weapons and armor should be disabled first." Park nodded slowly. He was still having trouble believing what he had seen, but he was a soldier. He knew how to follow orders, even when the world no longer made sense. "Do it," he said. "And officer, excellent work." Bowed her head slightly, but she was not finished. She looked at one more time. "I'm going to send you a message," she said. "Not to you personally, but to your empire. I want them to know what happened here today. I want them to understand that Earth is not like the other worlds you have conquered." "They will come," warned. "They will send more ships, more soldiers. You cannot defeat the entire empire." "Maybe not today," agreed. "But tomorrow, next year, 100 years from now, who knows what we will be capable of? That's the thing about humans, Commander. We keep getting stronger. We keep finding new ways, and we never ever stop." She walked away, leaving the great commander alone with his thoughts. Around him, his army stood frozen. Above him, the blue light of the energy nets glowed like stars. He had come to conquer a planet. He had found something far more dangerous. He had found a species that refused to give up. 3 days had passed since the battle that was not really a battle. The soldiers were held in the station's cargo bays, their armor removed, their weapons destroyed. They ate human food and drank human water. They were treated fairly, even kindly. This confused them more than anything else. Sat alone in a small cell. The energy net was gone, but special cuffs on his wrists prevented him from using his full strength. He stared at the wall and thought about everything that had happened. He had been so sure, so absolutely certain that humans were weak, that they would fall like all the others. He had studied them. He had analyzed them. He had found every flaw, every weakness, every reason they could not win. But he had missed something, something important. The door to his cell opened. Walked in, carrying 2 cups. She sat down across from him and placed 1 cup on the small table between them. "It's called tea," she said. "Humans drink it. I thought you might want to try it." Looked at the cup. Steam rose from the dark liquid inside. He did not move to take it. "Why are you being kind to me?" he asked. "I came here to enslave your people. I threatened to kill everyone on this station. You should hate me." Took a sip from her own cup. "Hate takes energy," she said. "I would rather use that energy for other things." "Like what?" "Like building, learning, growing. There is so much we want to do, Commander, so much we want to see. Hate would only slow us down." Shook his head. "I do not understand you. Any other species would want revenge. They would want to hurt me the way I tried to hurt them." "I'm sure some humans feel that way," admitted. "We are not perfect. We have anger and fear like anyone else, but we also have something else, something that has helped us survive for thousands of years." "What?" "Hope," said simply. "We believe that tomorrow can be better than today. We believe that enemies can become friends. We believe that the universe is big enough for everyone." Was quiet for a long moment. He picked up the cup of tea and looked at it. Then slowly he took a small sip. It was bitter and strange, but not unpleasant. "The Empire will not stop," he said finally. "Even after what happened here, they will send more ships. They will try again." "I know," said. "Then why show me kindness? Why not use me to send a message of fear?" Smiled. It was a gentle smile, warm and genuine. "We are sending a message, but not a message of fear. Fear creates enemies. We want to create something else." "What?" "Doubt," said. "When your empire hears about what happened here, they will have questions. They will wonder how a young species defeated their best soldiers. They will wonder what other surprises we have. And some of them, maybe just a few, will start to think that maybe, just maybe, there is a better way." In the command center was preparing the message that would be sent across the galaxy. It was not a threat. It was not a warning. It was an invitation. The message was simple. It spoke of humanity. It told their story. How they had evolved on a small blue planet. How they had struggled and fought and nearly destroyed themselves many times. How they had finally reached the stars. And how, when faced with an enemy they could not defeat, they had found a way to win anyway. But the message did not end with victory. It ended with an offer. "To all species of the galaxy," the message said, "we are humans. We are new to the stars, but we are not afraid. We do not seek war. We do not seek conquest. We seek knowledge. We seek friendship. We seek to understand the great universe we have been born into. We know that many of you have heard of us as weak, as primitive, as prey, but we have shown today that we are more than we appear. We are survivors. We are innovators. We are dreamers. To those who would threaten us, know that we will defend ourselves. We will fight with everything we have. We will never give up, never surrender, never stop. But to those who seek peace, know that we welcome you. Our station is open. Our planet is open. Come and meet us. Learn about us. Teach us about you. Let us build something new together. The galaxy is vast. There is room for all of us. Let us stop fighting and start exploring. Let us stop conquering and start creating. Let us be together what none of us could be alone. This is humanity's message to the stars. We hope you are listening." Myra read the message and wiped tears from her eyes. "It's beautiful," she said, "but will they listen?" "Some will," said, Some won't, but that's okay. We just need some. That's how change starts. One person at a time, one world at a time. The message was sent. It flew across space at the speed of light, spreading out in all directions. It would take years to reach some parts of the galaxy, but it would reach them. And when it did, everything would change. Back in the cell, finished her tea and stood up. "We're going to release you tomorrow," she said. "You and all your soldiers. We're giving you your ship back. You can return to your empire." Stared at her in disbelief. "You're letting us go after what we did." "After what you tried to do," corrected. "You didn't actually hurt anyone, and keeping you prisoner would only make things worse. Your empire would see it as an act of war. We would rather give them something to think about." "They will see it as weakness," said. "They will think you are afraid." "Maybe some of them will," agreed. "But others will wonder. They will ask why humans showed mercy when they had the power to destroy. They will remember that we could have killed you and didn't, and that memory will stay with them." She walked to the door, then stopped and looked back. "Commander, I want to tell you something. When you leave here, you will have a choice. You can go back to your empire and tell them to attack Earth again. You can lead another army against us. You can spend the rest of your life trying to defeat us." Or asked. "Or you can remember what you learned today. You can remember that there are other ways to live, other ways to be strong. You can choose to be something more than a conqueror." Was silent. He had no answer. His entire life had been about conquest, about power, about victory. He did not know who he was without those things. "The choice is yours," said. "But whatever you decide, remember this: humans never give up. On our enemies, yes, but also on our friends, even our potential friends. We believe in second chances. We believe in change. We believe in hope." She left the cell. The door closed behind her, and Commander, conqueror of 12 worlds, sat alone with his thoughts and a half-empty cup of strange human tea. 1 week later, the ship departed Hope Station, stood at the front of the ship looking at the stars. His soldiers were quiet. No one spoke about what had happened. No one knew what to say. But something had changed, could feel it, something in him, something in all of them. As the ship flew toward distant stars, a single thought repeated in his mind, a thought that would not go away. Maybe the humans were right. Maybe there was a better way. And maybe, just maybe, it was not too late to find it. Behind him, Hope Station grew smaller and smaller until it disappeared into the darkness. But the message it had sent was already spreading, already reaching other worlds, already planting seeds of doubt and wonder in minds across the galaxy. Earth's first message to the stars was not a threat. It was an invitation. And the universe would never be the same again.